My name's Ken Jennings. I got into the sign business when I was in high school. I had a teacher that worked for a sign shop part-time, and he said, why don't you go down and try it? And got working for another sign shop downtown. Worked there for some 20-odd years, learning the trade and different things before I come into here and bought this business out. I like to do signs because signs is a variety. You're never doing the same thing twice, at least not very often. You have some things that you have to do over again, but usually it's generally different if a copy's changed a little bit or something like that. That's probably the least variety that you'll get. Most of it's new things. One thing I like about the sign industry is a challenge. Somebody that comes in with something I've never done before and being able to do it. We do a lot of customized signs. We like working with individuals and things like that. And we like to do the best we can for them as well as the big companies also.
When we started, Ken was the art director for Schmidt Signs, and so we went down there for all of our menus and things like that, and we started working with him at that point, and then we followed him when he bought Hart Sign. It was basically created as a new division of Schmidt Signs. When they started doing the decals, the overlays, all the things like that, we wanted to stay with Ken. Ken's the one that had the creativity. He is the one that figured out the things and knew how to do it. We do golf courses, so we've got the posted menus in there. He'll come up with three-dimensional menus. Golf course, for example, he'll create a half of a golf ball. He will do an overlay of a photo logo of the golf course itself. Something like this, so it looks like the menu actually belongs to the golf course rather than a Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola menu sitting up on the wall. He's very good at what he does. Very good.
I've known him since 1985 probably, and I met him down at Schmidt Signs where he was the art director, and he was so good and so articulate with all of his things and never made a mistake. And that's what I really like more than anything is the no mistake factor, because it takes my time when I have to go down there and work all this out, and then when it's a big mistake, then I have to go work it out all again. It's not just the expense of the mistake, but it's just the time involved. So he helps me look extremely professional. We change our showroom, our design showroom out here every 3 or 4 months, and so we always have a new name for that. We do it on the front, and then we do little tinier signs like that all throughout in here that we put them on different things to just carry the theme out.
Ken moved into my neighborhood about 1993. I got to know him, and we became friends just because we're neighbors. Eventually, I found that Ken was working for a sign company in downtown Salt Lake City, and I heard that eventually he bought his own sign company. I know that's a pretty risky venture, and it takes a lot of competence and confidence to be able to do that, but I had no idea the level of his expertise. It wasn't till some years later when I mentioned I have a need for some signs in an office, and he whipped them out in a hurry, and they were quality. So when we moved to this new place, I asked him if he could come up with a 3D sign for us. He came up, gave me some ideas, and the results, I couldn't even think of it being that good. Our neighbors saw our sign, and they wanted to know who had done it. So I told them about Ken, and they said they had some pretty concrete ideas about what they wanted to do. And I said, why don't you give Ken those ideas and let his creative juices flow and see what he can come up with. And later they told me that they had a pretty good idea what they wanted, but Ken's ideas were far superior. And the results speak for themselves. They're on the wall, and I'm very impressed with Ken.
Ken, over the years, has taken our company and made that a lot more well-known with that logo. And then, of course, right now we're located on State Street in Sandy, in a beautiful building. And so when we got the building, we called up Ken and said, come on down. We need this great building to just be that much more pizzazzy. And he had all these ideas. And people, whenever I tell them about Cruise Lady, almost everyone in the area, they know the building, and it's because of those signs. 11 years and going stronger than ever. But signage makes all the difference. Doesn't help if you do a good thing and no one knows about it.
We've used Ken Jennings for a number of years just because he's been consistent. He's done a variety of sign work for us, mostly our for sale signs for our cross arms, directionals, promotional signs, monument signs, basically any sign work that we've needed, we've had Ken do it. And Ken has always been timely, he's competitive, and his work is guaranteed. There's been a few times that we haven't been happy for whatever reason, a miscommunication perhaps, and he's just made it right. And we just appreciate his prompt follow-up and professionalism. And he's competitive. Customer comes first with Ken, I think so. That'd be fair to say.
What we do, signs for like the movie industry. We've done a lot of big name movies that were filmed here in Utah, and they like to come to us because they know that we are good at deadlines and that we will do a good job, and we're not going to mess up their shooting deadlines by not having something ready or something not right. I've had a few movie companies come to me and say that they've had problems with other sign shops, and that's why they were checking on us, but never left after that. So we've done things for Caroline Films. We did things for Everwood, which was another production company. And we've done things for the Work in the Glory commercials. We did NBA commercials before. We've done commercials for car companies. We've done things for Salty Pictures, who does all the Disney shows. They do the high school musicals. We just recently did a movie for Minuteman, and they come in and they wanted like 8-foot letters to change the local high school, Murray High School, down into Somerton High School for the show Minuteman, which hasn't came out yet, but will soon, on the Disney Channel.
In the fall of 2003, we were working on a show called The World's Fastest Indian, and we needed a lot of signage done very quickly. And we had been working with another sign company in town, which wasn't really working for us. And I think a coworker in the film business recommended Ken Jennings and Hart Signs. So we turned to them with some really tough projects, and Ken came through fabulously. And ever since, I've used Ken solely for all of our sign needs. We need everything from posters, billboards, dimensional letters, routed stencils. It just runs the gamut of sign stuff, and Hart Signs does it all.
I have a saying I always tell my employees that the best salesman we have here is the job you're working on right now. And so if it's done right, it will bring in other customers. If it's done wrong, it will chase them away.
I would really recommend Ken Jennings highly to anybody else using him, because he is just so devoted, and I think he's cost effective. We never get, these outrageous sign bills or anything like that. It's always the same. We always know how much we're going to be billed or for what, and it's just not any huge surprises ever. I have no desire or no sense in developing another relationship, because he knows me so well, and I've become his really, really good friend over the years of doing business with him. And he knows the measurements of our windows. He understands everything, and I don't have to explain it all over again every single time I go to make a new sign. He knows and understands and knows what to do and how to do it.
He's taken a good thing that we do and helped us become more well-known.
I think I know everything when I go in there, how I want it to look and everything else. And I am not that kind of a person. I have gone to Ken with a lot of ideas of how this is what I would like to do. In a lot of cases, I've been told that this would look better doing it this way. And yes, I have learned to trust Ken. I listen to him, and I think just accepting that has given us a better product.
The personal aspect of working with Ken is very important. He pays very close attention to my needs. Working for Disney, we have very specific protocol which we have to follow, and Ken is great at just providing me with the level of service that I need. He's always there. He's always ready to facilitate whatever I need. And it's great to know that, you're not just another customer. It's a very personal relationship we have.
He has that great talent, and he has the ability to perceive color and texture and depth and three-dimensional. And what can you say about somebody who is superlative in their area?
People ask, who does your sign work? It looks good. I like your logo and your graphics and your colors, and your consistency is really important to us. And we tell them that Hart Signs has been doing our sign work for 25 years or so.
Film companies will come in from Los Angeles or out of town to shoot a feature here or a series here, and they won't know local vendors, but they know, the local people who work in the business. And they call me, and they're looking for a reference here in town, somebody that can get the job done. And every time I say Hart Signs.
He's the best.